Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be who you were before you met the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So who were you before you met the narcissist? You were probably a person who did not know that narcissism existed. You probably were vulnerable. You were probably trusting and naive, and you thought that most people thought the way you thought, or at least had your best interest at heart. And then lo and behold, along came the narcissist, and this person changed the trajectory of your life. They changed you and your mindset, and they changed your view on humanity and on people and relationships specifically. You see, before you met the narcissist, most of the relationships, if not all of them, they didn't do damage to you. Maybe you got your heart broken here or there, or maybe you broke someone's heart, but it wasn't anything you couldn't get over, or they couldn't get over within maybe a couple weeks or so. Or maybe then it was a friendship, and maybe you had to relocate from a different part of the country to a different part, and maybe you kept in touch for a while and then you lost touch. But these people you don't think about. These are average, everyday relationships that so many of us have experienced. And these were before we met the narcissist. You see, the narcissist wants to inflict pain. They want to inflict damage upon people. They want to manipulate people and take advantage of people. And whether the relationship that you were a part of was a romantic relationship, a friendship, a colleague, coworker, etc., the narcissistic relationship, specifically that person, they changed you and how you see humanity and how you see relationships and how you see people, because this is the relationship you need to heal from. Now, I say that frequently during videos because think of any other relationship that you were a part of. You didn't have to heal from the relationship. Maybe, again, like I said, maybe you had some challenging times for a period, but then you got over it and you processed things and you grieved, or you gave yourself closure, etc., or they gave you closure. The narcissist wants to inflict as much damage upon people in the shortest amount of time as possible, if they can do that. Now, if they can drag the relationship out for 10, 20, 30 years, well, they will do that as well. As long as you are with the narcissist, in the vicinity, in the proximity, specifically close to them, they will try their best to keep you stuck in the narcissistic fog. And they will try their best to keep you believing in them and believing in the mask and believing in their false narrative. They don't want you believing in yourself. Remember, there are three versions of you. There's the version of you before you met the narcissist. There's the version of you when you were in the narcissistic relationship. And now there's the version of you post-narcissistic relationship, specifically when you've healed, and you've healed properly. Now, the third version of you is the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. This is rarefied air. It's when you reach the pinnacle and the mountaintop of indifference. It's when you no longer care about the narcissist or anybody from that period of time, because you've taken the lifelong learning lessons from the past and you've applied them to present day. And you don't predict the future. And you've slowed your life down. You've insulated yourself in that cocoon of boundaries. And you've processed, journaled, healed childhood wounds, seen a therapist, read, watched videos, etc. You've done so many things because all of your energy now went back into yourself. It wasn't going out the window to putting out the fires that the narcissist was starting. But going back to who you were before you met the narcissist, maybe you just relocated. Maybe you moved from one town to a different state or country, and you were new in the area. Well, whenever you became accustomed with that area, maybe after a few weeks or so, you had to spread out and become part of the community. And this is where the narcissist looked at you. This is when they sized you up. They said, oh, this person, they're new. I don't recognize them. They are the next new shiny object, or they're somebody I can take advantage of, or get them to give me money, or get them to spend time with me so I can play the victim card, or maybe have them fall in love with me. This is what the narcissist does. It's what they're doing right now. It's what they have done in the past. It's what they will always be doing. They want to manipulate people, and they want to wear a mask to get people to fall into these relationships with them. And these relationships can be any kind at all. It can be the workplace relationship. It can be a neighbor, coworker. It can be a romantic relationship. The whole point is who you were before you met them. That version of you is no longer here, because you now can't unsee what you've seen. And you've now experienced so many toxic behaviors, and you've heard so much verbal abuse, and you now know what triangulation is, my least favorite thing that these people do. And you know what gaslighting is, and the smear campaign, and the silent treatment, which is deadly. You know these things now. And now you're putting the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle to work for you. Before you met the narcissist, these were going to work on you. by the narcissist. Because does the narcissist know what the terms and the definitions are in the narcissistic abusive cycle? By now, maybe they do. But back then, they probably didn't, but they knew what behaviors to administer to you, to punish you for being you. This is once the narcissist had entered the relationship with you. Remember, they most likely were love bombing you. And love bombing doesn't mean romance specifically. It means they were giving you a lot of attention. They were pumping up your ego, making you think that you were so amazing and so important. And again, you were thinking the same thing, that that person was incredible. How could they be single? Or how can they be, how can they not have so many friends? Or how do they have so many friends, etc. But this was a roller coaster you were on. It was a roller coaster of emotions. It kept you on that hamster wheel spinning around and around and around, and you never knew what you were going to get. So that's why frequently when you're in these relationships, specifically in the love bomb stage, in the beginning, they are the most exciting part of the relationship because you never know what's going to happen. You're taken super high, and of course you're also dropped low, but not that low as you are once the discard happens, but you never know what's going on, and this is by design by the narcissist. The narcissist does not want stability. The narcissist wants to have people stay trapped in that loop of manipulation. And they want to sell you a bill of goods, thinking that they're the best person on the planet, or this will be the best relationship ever. And once the narcissist knew that they had you, once they knew that they placed you in that trauma bond / devaluation stage, whatever you want to call it, that's when it was game, set, and match for the narcissist. You see, no longer, right then and there, could you go back to doing what you were doing because you became a shell of yourself. You were now checking your smartphone virtually every 10 minutes. You were now calling the narcissist and they weren't answering. You were now waiting for the narcissist to get off of work or to show up at your house or to meet you for lunch or dinner, etc. You were now planning things with the narcissist, i.e. vacations or holidays or birthdays, etc. And all of these things, whereas in the beginning of the relationship, during the love bomb stage, they appear to be so amazing and so beautiful, they all disappear once you're in the devaluation stage, once the narcissist begins to pull back. This is when you are helpless. This is when the narcissist wants to press on that gas pedal of abuse. This is when they want to drag you along and string you along as they possibly can, pumping up their fragile ego, taking away every bit of your energy from you, and that's what supplies them the fuel source to catapult them to the next leg of their life. The narcissistic relationship, it has changed you forever. And when you were in that devaluation stage, you lost your sense of self. Like I said, you became an extension of the narcissist. You weren't doing things you would usually do. You weren't participating in your hobbies. Your money was going to the narcissist. You were probably paying their bills or paying for vacations or food or Amazon, etc. But you weren't taking care of your bills. You weren't taking care of your health. You weren't taking care of your relationships because you were putting the narcissist high up on the pedestal, and they knew this. This is why the narcissist wanted the unpaid helper. This is why they wanted the walk-in apology. This is why they wanted the sounding board, the chauffeur, the pool person, the errand person, the person who would cook, clean, pay the bills, etc. And the longer you stayed in that devaluation stage, the second stage of the narcissistic abusive cycle, the more your resources became depleted, the more your clarity was disappearing, the more your relationships were blown up left, right, and center, not only because you weren't nurturing them, but because the narcissist was administering the smear campaign to blow up or drive wedges between you and these relationships. And then people that knew you for 10, 20, 30 years, maybe even a lifetime, they were looking at you and they were watching your demise from afar. Now, they weren't happy about this, but there's nothing they could do. Maybe they even knew that the person you were in a relationship with was a toxic, narcissistic person, but they couldn't say it because you wouldn't believe them, because it was too late. You were already in the deep end. You didn't know where you were. You didn't know that narcissism existed, but your behaviors were changing. Maybe your looks were changing. Maybe before you met the narcissist, you had short hair and the narcissist wanted you to grow it out, or vice versa. Maybe you were wearing certain kind of clothing that suited you and the narcissist wanted to change your appearance via the clothes that you were wearing. Maybe the car that you had that the narcissist didn't approve of, they wanted you to buy a different car. You see, the narcissist looks at people, and you were no different, as a piece of clay or a piece of putty that they want to mold into anything that they want that benefits them, that doesn't benefit you. And this is what happened when you were in that relationship. Then what happened once the narcissist got whatever they wanted from you, maybe it was a month, maybe it was a year, maybe it was a season, maybe it was 10 years. But something gave, something snapped, something broke, and the narcissist most likely discarded you. Now again, if they discarded you, my heart goes out to you, but perhaps you ended it yourself. Maybe you were wise enough to figure out that you needed to remove yourself from that relationship. Either way, you were in the relationship and it ended. And then what happened? Then you had a void. You had a huge hole to fill in your life. Because now what you were doing before you met the narcissist, those days are over. All of the people that you were spending time with and the hobbies and everything, you don't want to do those any longer because you were giving all of your attention and energy to the narcissist. Now the narcissist has gone. What do? You find yourself stuck, most likely isolated, trapped, and you're all by yourself because your support system has blown up. And this is when you really have to figure out what narcissism is, how it affected you, and what you need to do about it. Keep in mind that not everybody that goes through the narcissistic abusive cycle figures it out. Not everybody gets that needle in a haystack. You are one of the fortunate ones because you're on the channel and you're in the community and you're getting your cup full and you're applying the wisdom that is provided for you each and every day here on the channel. And you're taking the lifelong learning lessons and applying them to present day. But not everybody figures this out. So having said that, when you were in that void and you were by yourself post-relationship, I am certain that you had sleepless nights. I'm certain that you had carnal screams. You gained weight, you lost weight. You were trying to lean on people and explain to them what kind of relationship you had just exited and why this person won't communicate with you. But these people were one of two people. One, they were toxic themselves and they wanted to watch your demise. Or two, they couldn't wrap their head around it and they would get burned out. And then there are people like myself and other people who have gone through the cycle and risen through the ashes like a phoenix. We speak the same language as you, but we are few and far between. However, we are growing in numbers. But when you figure it out, then you have to really practice radical acceptance and understand that that relationship, it wasn't what you wanted it to be at all. It was what it was, which was a relationship that benefited one person, which was the narcissist. That relationship never benefited you. When you were in it, you were supposed to believe that it benefited you, but it didn't. Because the narcissist took 99% of everything you would provide for them, and they gave you less than 1%. And the narcissist would never meet you halfway on anything. It was the narcissist's way or the highway, and they knew this. Once they sank their dirty fangs into you and they began to pull back, they knew that they had now injected you with the toxicity of the cycle, and they knew it would take a lot of work for you to get this out of your veins. This is what the narcissist does. This is why who you were before you met the narcissist, it's a completely different version of you. This is why who you were when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, it's a completely different version of you. This is why post-relationship, you are putting yourself back together and you're understanding that you cannot be either the first version of you or the second version of you. This is why you must go no contact and block these people, etc. But once you reach the pinnacle of indifference, and it will take time, then you realize that there was no other way. You had to go through that relationship. And it's almost as if you were in that cocoon of boundaries that I speak of, and I made that video 2 years ago, and you came out of the cocoon of boundaries after you healed, and you're like a chrysalis, and you're a butterfly flying away because you're reborn. You now see the world through a new set of eyes, the set of eyes that you couldn't see before you met the narcissist, the set of eyes that you were blinded to when you were in the relationship. But this set of eyes you now see the world through is an amazing set because you don't have rose-tinted glasses on, and you can now see people for who they are, not for who they appear to be. So all these things I'm mentioning to you, understand the three versions of you, they're completely true, they're completely accurate. And if you've reached that mountaintop, drop comments below. If this is the first video you're watching, stay true, stay on the course. Realize the narcissist won't give you closure. They didn't care about you. They don't care about anybody. They can't fall in love, and they will never change, and they can't introspect. Understand what I'm sharing with you. The path is not linear. The healing path will take a lot of time, but in your time you will heal if you use the tools that are provided for you on the channel, and if you really focus on yourself and don't think that the narcissist has your best interest at heart, because they didn't, they don't, and they never will. The narcissist wanted to keep you stuck in that second version where you were the unpaid helper, you were the pawn, you were the puppet. You would do anything that they wanted you to do. If they said jump, you would say how high. That is not what you do any longer. That's why you need to really slow your life down and process things and realize that where you are is a great place if you are not in the relationship. But if that is not where you want to be, meaning if you're not healed yet, well, stay on the path. Continue to know that each and every day You will improve. Continue to journal, to meditate, to see a therapist, etc. Work on yourself. Don't think the narcissist can change, because they can't. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. And who you were before you met the narcissist, that was a completely different person. Life is always dynamic. Life is always changing. And my hope is life always goes up and to the right like a stock, but it doesn't. We have trials, we have tribulations, we have challenges, and we met the behemoth, the juggernaut, the walking disaster, the narcissist. And that person spun us around. They took us super high and dropped us super low and changed the trajectory of our life. But now that we've healed, and we've healed properly, or we are doing so, we understand there was no other way, and that we are stronger than we know. And we are the beautiful, bright, shining lights. And our energy cannot be extinguished. And our path is clear. It is living our best lives, narcissistic, relationship free. I love you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.